Good evening, Irish fans, and welcome to the Irish Fan podcast, where I am not an Irish fan. I am Irish Fan. As you can see with my new setup, well, kinda. If you only knew the jerry rigging that was going on behind this camera, well, that's me. And I'm poor, and I'm just now getting started. So it's okay. It's okay for now. I think it looks good. I think you guys are gonna like it. Little bit new look. So I hope you enjoy that. It gives you a little bit more of an aesthetic feel to a Notre Dame podcast instead of me sitting in my stupid chair in the good old man cave. I'm in the man cave, but I'm not in my chair. I'm doing something a little bit more podcasty, trying to get a little bit more professional. So that's the setup. Probably gonna wear a hat. I don't know. I'm gonna be wearing merch this whole time because I love Notre Dame merch. That's all I have in my wardrobe. But I'm gonna start wearing more stuff. My bald head is just kind of ugly, so I have to throw something on the dome just so you guys don't have to see that shiny thing all the time. And it's not a golden dome; it's just a bald white guy dome. So the new setup. Hope it looks good. I hope you like it. Um, we're obviously going to talk Notre Dame football today. Before we do and we get into everything, I need you to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. You can only find me on YouTube right now because I'm still setting up all this good stuff. If you're new to the channel, this is what I got. This is who I am. I'm not anything big right now, anything flashy. You're not going to see anything cool. You're not going to hear any cool music, and eventually I'm going to get to that kind of thing. But for now, your boy is what you got, and me talking about Notre Dame football because that's what I love to do, and hopefully you love to hear idiots like me talk about Notre Dame football. So going forward, this is what you're going to see. Also, I'm going to try and do a little bit more structured show. Try to keep this under 45 minutes. You never know because there might be some ranting that needs to go on. This will be a lot more segmented. I've been trying to keep it somewhat segmented throughout each episode, but I mean, there's been a lot to talk about in the not good way. Unfortunately, we've had a loss, and it was not a very good one. But I'm not going to go into that right now because we just had a huge win over Louisville, and I'm going to get into the game. Before we do, Louisville, Louisville until you earn back the right to be called Louisville, because I know everyone in Louisville says call it Louisville, not Louisville. You know what? You're Louisville from now on. Because you guys are a bunch of. This is a clean show. I'm not going to cuss. That's not what I'm going to do. I want your 75-year-old grandmother or your 3-year-old son or daughter to listen to the show. But you guys played a Bush League game, man. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna show all you guys, tell all you guys about the Bush League that you got into. But for now, you're Louisville. You're not Louisville anymore. You're Louisville. And until you can earn the right back to be called Louisville, I'll call you Louisville. Anyway, we won, and you guys didn't. How do you like them apples? Big win, 31-24. Irish come out on top. I'm going to start this show from now on trying to be positive. We've been negative for the last couple of shows, rightfully so. And we're going to still talk about some of that negativity. We have to get into that because we here at this show want to talk about the standard of excellence that Notre Dame needs to get back to in order to win a national title, not compete for, win a national title. I'm going to say that a lot. You're going to hear that a lot because Notre Dame needs a lot of people behind them wanting them to win a national title again. Hopefully they can get back into that. So they're not there yet. So we still have to address some issues. And issues are aplenty. Lots of issues with this Notre Dame football team, unfortunately. But we're going to start with something positive. Actually, we're going to start 3 things. So me and my family were doing this whole thing. You know, I don't know if we're doing it daily or not, but we just saw this movie. And we're going to try and do 3 positive things that happened every single day. I mean, 3 things that were positive that happened to you each day. Well, we're doing that as a family about other life stuff, not Notre Dame stuff. So I'm going to try on this podcast to start every show with our 3 positive things that happened with Notre Dame football. Okay. Number 1, Notre Dame won. Can't get any more positive than that. They had to win. This was a landmark game for Marcus Freeman. Going into this game, it wasn't a must win. It wasn't a must win or you lose your job game, but it was a must win if you want to do anything at Notre Dame, that you had to win this game. You absolutely had to, because it was the culmination of this whole season. You lose this game, season's over, and now you're playing 7 games the rest of the year that mean nothing, and then you go into again another meaningless bowl game. Maybe if you lose this game, I mean, obviously Notre Dame would have been, it will be a bowl eligible team, but you don't want to go into this. You don't want to have a first class ticket to El Paso again. Nobody wants that. I know Marcus Freeman doesn't want that. I know that. That's good. And he proved it to all of us Irish fans on Saturday by getting that win. So 31-24, we got the win. That's number one. Number two, Notre Dame is the only top 25 team with 2 wins over current top 25 teams. Now, let me say that again, because maybe a lot of you didn't really hear that. Notre Dame is the only team within the top 25 to have 2 wins over current top 25 teams. Now, there's a bunch of other teams that might have 2 wins over top 25 teams, but those teams may no longer be in the top 25. So they were probably top 25 when they played them, but they're not top 25 anymore. Notre Dame's 2 wins against Texas A&M, who is currently number 24, and Louisville is ranked number 22. So we have 2 of those big wins. That's big. Why does that matter? Because the committee looks at wins over ranked opponents. They don't necessarily look at good losses anymore, if that is such a thing, quote unquote. Something that we unfortunately have become accustomed to at Notre Dame over the last 10 years. Oh man, they played Georgia really good in a hard-fought night game down in Athens, and just saying that over and over and over again gives me a migraine, because I'm sick of that and I want to win those games. So 2 wins over current top 25 teams. That's big, and we're the only team currently right now in the in the FBS to have that, because we're the only team in the top 25 to have that on their record. That's number 2. Number 3, man, those jerseys were sweet. Irish red, green, and the white. The green on the white, the gold, the green, and the white. It worked, man. It worked. I loved it. I hope they do more stuff like that. And they don't have to get ridiculous. You've got Oregon, who could it's freaking, they're Oprah Winfrey, man. They could wear a different outfit for every single quarter, let alone every single game. It's stupid. I'm not down for that. I know most of you Irish fans aren't down with that either. But doing more stuff like that, it gets the recruits to turn a little head. Oh, look at that. Look at Notre Dame. Look at those sweet green jerseys. And it looks really nice. It looked great. I thought it was awesome. I hope they keep doing stuff like that. I can't wait to see their Shamrock jerseys. They have a very similar color to this, only they have the really shiny gold lettering. It's going to look really cool. I can't wait to see them. But those green jerseys look great. And hey, we got to win with the green jersey. I know that's been the bane of some Irish fans' existence for the last couple of years, unless we're playing Army, a bad Army team at that, and not usually in these when we're playing these ranked teams, and we try to do an alternate jersey, we lose. We did it last year with Ohio State. I was at that game. I was wearing this hat actually at that game, and we brought it, and we lost that game. And it's another podcast. Again, I'm not going to get into that because that's why reopen that scab. So those are my 3 positive things. Notre Dame won, only team within the top 25 with 2 wins over current top 25 teams, and the jerseys look sweet. Okay, let's get into the game a little bit. First off, Louisville. Learn how to play football. Okay? What I mean by that is stop playing dirty. I had a lot of respect for Brom. I can never remember if it's Brian Brom or Mike Brom. Is Brian the brother? And I don't know. Coach Brom, the head coach, not the OC. You played a Bush League game, bro. Bush League game. What do I mean? Let's see. There were two plays. One in the first half. I believe it was the first quarter, where Jeremiah Love takes the ball, he gets stuffed, and they twist his leg as they're getting up. Now, most of the time, this happens all the time. This happens every game. Notre Dame probably does it every once in a while. But players aren't doing this to actually hurt the player. They're doing it to get a rise out of the player so that player will do something stupid and cause a 15-yard penalty, which we're going to get to in just a second. They did it twice. First time they did it on Jeremiah Love, no doubt, who is probably our best player. Certainly our best offensive player. And they did it once in the first half. They did it once in the second half. It's clear as day. You can see it on TV. They tackle him. They kind of get up and try to jerk his leg around a little bit. And that's Bush League, man. You think you can't win. You're going one-on-one with your team. Your best players against our best players. No, you got to do Bush League things. If I can only say the words that I really want to say. Bush League. Let's keep going on. So, in the second half, I believe it was Jordan Clark had a huge 15-yard penalty put on against him. I mean, he headbutts the wide receiver that he's covering. I remember seeing the replay. I look at my buddy and I'm like, what is he doing? Why would he do that? He does a little Zinedine Zidane headbutt hit right into the guy's chest. And I went apoplectic. It was ridiculous. I could not believe he did that. Well, a little context. And this is not an excuse. Notre Dame football players in general, don't retaliate. You're going to give the person doing this stuff to you exactly what they want. And he got it. He got that rise out of Jordan Clark and got the 15-yard penalty. But the play before, he spit in his face. Yeah, Ja'Cory Brooks, wide receiver for Louisville. You spit in our guy's face, and that's it invoked a reaction. There certainly would have been a reaction out of me. Now I would have tried to do it. I mean, that's what scrums are for. Hope you don't get the ball next play because you're going to get a shot in the gut, and I don't mean the gut. Yeah, that's how you take it out. That's how you take out your frustration. That's how you get them back. If you do stupid things like headbutt them right in front of the referee and get a 15-yard penalty, you give them what they want. But Louisville, Ja'Cory Brooks, that was dirty, man. Dirty. A couple other things. Let's see. It was just a super chippy game. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that. There was a bunch of stuff after the game, some taunting by Louisville on Notre Dame's players. It was just from beginning to end, you could just tell that this was Bush. Oh yeah. Also, every time Notre Dame gets a big play, so Notre Dame right now is the team with the injury problems, which we're going to get to in a second. You'd think that Louisville was the team with all the injuries. I mean, every single time, and go back and watch the film. Go back and watch just the extended highlights. Every time Notre Dame gets a big play, every single time, someone from Louisville went down. And 2 plays later, they were right back on the field. They weren't going down to sprained ankles and ACL tears like our guys were. They're going down because they're trying to take momentum away from Notre Dame. Is it illegal? No. Is it provable? No. But it's certainly seeable. You can see it. You know what they're doing. The fans, rightfully so, were giving them plenty of boos because it is a Bush League move, and that is a sign of a coach who doesn't believe in his team and thinks he needs a little bit extra to get that W. Now, I'm all about the standard of excellence. I want to beat teams that are better than Notre Dame. Teams like Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ohio State. I want to beat those teams, but I don't want to do it that way. There's a way to win. That's not the way to win. Louisville, learn how to win. I mean, you didn't, but next time, do yourselves a favor, do your fan base a favor, do your university a favor, and play the right way. That was just Bush. And Coach Brom, whatever the heck your first name is, coach better. Do better, man. Do better. That was just awful. That was awful. And I feel bad for your team, actually, because you do have a good team. Louisville, they have a couple of guys that are SEC guys. Ja'Cory Brooks is one of them. He probably could have been a starter on Alabama's football team right now. He's really good. Louisville has some studs, and that's one of the reasons why this game is so impressive, is because Notre Dame was actually able to take it to a team that is, in terms of talent, pretty close to where Notre Dame is right now, on paper at least. Now, whatever happens going on in the rest of the season, I have no idea. I think Louisville should compete for an ACC title, and that would be interesting because maybe there's a chance that these two teams could meet again. I'm here for that. It's turning into quite the rivalry. Last year we losing to Louisville at Louisville, and then this year coming up and then playing a Bush League game, ridiculous. So, yeah, can't do that. Don't win that way. Nobody likes that. The injuries. I'm worried. I am. I'm worried about this team. We are dropping like flies, like flies. It's not good. Boubacar Traore, there's no word. They don't. Most colleges are doing this now, where they're not giving any kind of actual medical updates unless it's in a press conference, and usually coach is like, so and so has a knee injury, he's out for the rest of the year, or so and so has a sprained ankle and he's out for 3 weeks. That's about as good as we're going to get. There is no press conference this week, so we're not going to really officially know. I mean, I'm sure that some of the insiders who have the connections, and people not like that are not like me. I don't have connections. I'm not an insider. I don't have any of that. But I'm sure we'll hear throughout the week, exactly what's going on through leaks and whatnot. But we won't officially know until Marcus Freeman's press conference, his Stanford press conference next Monday, when he gives the updates. That is just such a bummer too. If we lose him for the year, I mean, that position, not only is that position severely under recruited, it's now severely depleted by injuries. Purdue, Jordan Botelho tears his ACL after the season. 2 games later, his backup, and probably the better player, and a guy that is just going to be a rising star in college football, in a lot of people's opinions, not just mine, Boubacar Traore, probably tears his ACL and is out for the season. So now we're down to Junior Tuihalamaka, who he's been playing better. He's been around the ball more. He's starting to, I think, get it. He's still, man, he runs like he's got cement for feet. He's not fast. He's really strong. But when you think of Viper, long, thin, athletic, quick, twitchy guys who are kind of a defensive linebacker hybrid, those guys drop the Viper position drops back into coverage. Rangy guys. He just doesn't fit that bill. I still don't understand why they moved him to Viper in the first place, but I guess thank God they did, because it's him and then a true freshman, Logan Thomas. That's your Viper position, folks. That's who we got. That's literally who we got. Junior Tuihalamaka, who is a converted Mike linebacker into a Viper defensive end. Your third string, then your fourth string true freshman, Logan Thomas. He's got a lot of upside. He's got a lot of talent. The staff really likes him, but we're now getting to the point where not only are we thin, I mean, we have more than half the season to play, not to mention the postseason, if we want to do anything in the postseason at all. So we're looking at maybe changing our defense. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, because what do we do there? I don't know. I mean, my opinion is you probably have to move. I'm I'm horrible with names. But you're probably going to have to move one of your big ends back over. Josh Burnham, sorry. I'm old too with the gray hair. You're probably gonna have to move Josh Burnham over to the Viper position because he's got Viper snaps. He also kind of fits that bill. He is quick. He's gained a lot of weight, not bad weight. Don't get me wrong. He's gained weight to be a big end. That's what they wanted him to play, is big end. Which those guys are anywhere between 260 to 300 pounds, depending on on their athleticism and how big they can actually get. 300 pounds would be a massive defensive end, but they exist. And he's about 260 pounds, so he's right on that cusp of he could technically play some Viper, but he's been playing big end, so that's probably what they're going to do. He's going to get snaps there. He's finally back healthy. I think he only got 4 snaps on Saturday, so hopefully he gets a little bit more. But we can't afford very many more. Guys out for the season, just off the top of my head. Starting left tackle, Charles Jagasaw. Starting center, Ashton Craig. Starting Viper, Jordan Patillo. Second string Viper, Bubkar Traore, those two guys who we just talked about. Those are just the guys that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm not even including guys like Chance Tucker, who is out for the year, who would be nice as a rotational guy in the cornerback room. Our cornerbacks right now, all Jade Mickey transferring and bailing on his teammates. And let me talk about that for just a second. I keep hearing a lot from the Notre Dame media sphere to kind of let this guy slide. He made a decision for himself, and whether it was right or wrong, just kind of leave him alone. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like, a lot of people are saying he's been through a lot. He lost his mom to cancer last year, and that's terrible. I've lost my mom to cancer. I lost my mom to cancer 4 years ago. I can empathize with the guy. It sucks. But this decision, it's got nothing to do with his mom dying of cancer. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's terrible. I hate it. Again, I empathize with this. This happened to me. My mother passed away from cancer. So you abandon your teammates? I guess he's trying to save a year of eligibility. Great. It's another one of those ongoing NIL type of things. I'm not saying he's leaving to go to another school for big bucks. At least not yet. But NIL involves so much more. I kind of talked about it in my previous podcast. I'm going to continue talking about it over the course of the season. There's a lot of ways where NIL can be a good thing, and there's a lot of ways where NIL can be a bad thing, and this is one of them. We just got crushed in depth because of this. The guy is able to play 4 games, and now he can redshirt, play 4 games, get some game film, preserve this entire season, stay at Notre Dame on scholarship, graduate in the spring with a Notre Dame football degree for free that he quit on, and now he's able to go to another school and have 2 years of eligibility left. I mean, we've got to create a situation where coaches can make a roster in spring and in fall, and that's the roster that you should be able to end with at the end of the season, barring injury. Period. That's how it should be. Players getting paid is a whole other conversation. But this cuts into depth. And teams that are competing for the playoff who want to win national championships have to have depth. And our depth is getting it's wearing thin. We're already at the point where we're playing second and third string players at key positions, and we can't afford anymore. We're at our whatever bottom that we could hit without completely bottoming out and it costing us games. We're right there. We're at the point where any more losses, it's going to cost us games. Right now, I don't think it's going to cost us any games, at least not in the regular season, because we're not playing anybody elite. At least not until USC, which are they elite? We'll see. But it's cutting into depth, injuries, and this NIL thing. Those are guys just off the top of my head. So that was a really big bummer on Saturday. I'm going to continue talking about it. over and over and over again until I see better play or until I see a move or a change made. There's a lot of people who love Riley Leonard and want him to be the starting quarterback. I am not one of them. I'm not shy about saying it. I have been advocating for his benching since the NIU loss. But it doesn't look like that is the way the coaches are going to go. So that's fine. You are making your bed. Now you're going to lie in it. Okay? I will do my part in rooting for Notre Dame every single Saturday. I want Riley Leonard to succeed. I truly do. I am that person. I am not a troll. I want him to succeed. I think he's a great person, but I just don't think he's a very good quarterback. He's a good football player. I'll even say that. He's not a very good quarterback. I'm going to give some stats here in just a second, but before I do, let me remind you guys once again. I want you to comment. I want to see a comment. What should Notre Dame do? Bench Riley Leonard or keep playing him? This is a big question because a lot of people are asking it. I think over this bye week, the coaches need to be seriously asking themselves if this is something that they need to be doing. Benching Riley Leonard. Are they going to give Steve Angeli and Kenny Minchie a little bit more reps in practice during this bye week to see if something can happen? And other positions as well. It's not just Riley Leonard. There's a couple other positions that should be up for grabs because the play is just not getting it done. What we're seeing on the field isn't getting it done. We had a 21-7 lead, 7 points that was gifted to Louisville at the beginning of the game. Stuff we got to clean up, man. And I'm sick and tired of. Like, there's a couple of guys that I'm just like, look, I just want to shake their hand and say thank you for being an ambassador and a good person for Notre Dame football. Here's the pine. You did your part. Thank you so much, but you're not playing again. There's some guys. I don't know. I don't know. But hopefully that's what they're evaluating a lot of positions over the break, over this bye week that we have. And who knows? I mean, maybe they will make it. Maybe they will make it. I don't know. I don't think they will. But so they're sticking with Riley Leonard. Let me give you some context, some stats from Riley Leonard, both from his sophomore year and this year. His sophomore year at Duke, which is by far his best season as a college quarterback, and is actually pretty impressive. He played against an ACC schedule, a down year. His not so good games were the games that were tough. So you've always got to take stats like these with a grain of salt. But they were 2 years ago. You'd think the guy would be a little bit more evolved by now. I've been saying it since the start of the season. His injury last year, and then going into spring, the setback and the surgery, not being able to be in the spring, and then only essentially having fall camp and these games with these wide receivers and this team. That's all they have. That's all he's had. This has clearly been an issue. But the regression's quite impressive. Let me give you some of these for just 1 second. Okay, this year, he is, let me see here. Sorry, I got to get my bearings. Okay, yeah, this year. So this does not include the Louisville game, okay? I took these stats before the Louisville game. I wanted to try and put something together before the game. Life gets in the way, family, kids, work, all that stuff. So this does not include the Louisville game. He was 65 for 103, which is 63%. That's probably his best stat. I mean, it's also a very deceiving stat. That's 63% completion percentage is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad, and it leads you to believe that he's an accurate passer. He is not. 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions, which is not that bad, and 587 yards. This does not include the Louisville game. This is through 4 football games, though. 4 against Purdue, NIU, Texas A&M, and who'd they play last week? I don't know. Can't think of it off the top of my head. Miami of Ohio. An SEC team, a MAC team, 2 MAC teams, and a Big Ten team. 1 passing touchdown. I'm saying that slowly, deliberately, so that can sink in. 1 passing touchdown through 4 games. I mean, it's just not good. But then he's a really good rusher. Okay, rushing stats: 46 attempts, 322 yards, 7 yards per carry per attempt. That is pretty good. And 6 rushing touchdowns. That's great. Here's the thing: we have 2 great running backs. We don't need him to do this. It's a good thing to have, and it should be supplemental to the offense, not a main part of the offense, not the main part of the offense. The main part of our scoring offense is literally Riley Leonard rushing touchdowns. That was never part of the deal. Okay, getting him in and the things that we were told in the offseason and what this offense was going to look like, it wasn't him and the main part of the offense being his legs, quarterback dives on 3rd and 1, and him getting touchdowns. Especially that being the only part of the offense. To give you some context, are these good numbers? No, they're not. I've been talking about benching him. This is done quite often. I've mentioned the example before. Nick Saban doing it last year to Jalen Milroe and putting Tyler Buckner in the game. You talk about some stones, man. I've mentioned that before. Notre Dame's done it. Notre Dame has done it before. We did it in 2018. Not only did Brian Kelly do it, he did it to perhaps one of the best running and a very well-liked quarterback in Brandon Wimbush. Not just that, he was a winner. Brandon Wimbush had a really good winning record and was 3-0 when he got benched. And that's when we made the move to Ian Book, and all of a sudden you see a completely different offense. And every Irish fan's looking at themselves going, what? Where has this been? And why didn't we start doing this at the beginning of the season? You can see the love affair with guys who quarterbacks who can run the football. I know why. Because you can potentially have a Jaden Daniels who wins the Heisman trophies and is a first-round draft pick and all that great stuff. But he's the exception. He's not the rule. And coaches get drunk off of possibly finding guys who can put up numbers or close to numbers like that. I remember a lot of guys at the beginning of the season saying, man, if he could just replicate what he did at Duke his sophomore year, I would take that. That'd be great. Yeah, that would be great. Let's get into that. What were his stats through 4 games? Okay, 2 years ago, these are Riley Leonard's stats through 4 games. 72 for 101, 71% mark. That's really good. That's elite. 71% of your passes. 8 touchdowns, passing, 2 interceptions, 1,449 yards. Those were his sophomore year stats through 4 games. Let me say it again. 72 for 101, 71% clip, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,049 yards. Rushing, 32 attempts, 201 yards, 6.2 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns. That is exactly what we need at Notre Dame. Those numbers that I just showed you, that's exactly what we need. I understand why the coaches want him. I understand why the coaches went and got him to do that. He's not doing it. This is the numbers. I just read them to you. He's not doing it. He's not getting it done. So what does that mean? Keep banging your head against the wall, hoping that it's going to happen, and when it's not? Well, Danny, he did pass for 2 touchdowns on Saturday, 168 yards and a rushing touchdown. That will be good enough to beat Louisville. That'll be good enough. It is not good enough to beat Alabama, Georgia, Texas, or Ohio State. What are we doing here? Are we trying to win games, or are we trying to win national championships? Your boy's trying to win national championships. And Notre Dame's trying to win games. What I just showed you with these stats are exactly why I want Riley Leonard benched. He has not gotten better. He has regressed. There is some improvement this season. Passing, throwing the ball down the field. He got to throw down the field. Yay. He's starting to get the whole quarterback thing. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I want greatness, not mediocrity. And right now he's giving us mediocrity. You want a little bit more context? Here's a little bit more context. Brandon Wimbush's numbers when he got canned and sat for a quarterback who could actually run the offense, and lo and behold, took us to the playoff. His numbers that year, through 3 games, I might add, Riley Leonard had an extra game in these stats that I just gave. Brandon Wimbush, these are through 3 games. 42 for 76, 55%, 1 passing touchdown, 4 interceptions, 589 yards. 49 attempts rushing, 136 yards, 2.7 yards per clip, 1 rushing touchdown. That's probably what got him benched. If he's running a little bit better, maybe he sticks as the starter. I'm talking about Brandon Wimbush in 2018. I don't know. Probably not, because he wasn't running the kind of offense that we needed to compete to win for national championships. Those numbers are not too far off. I mean, look, literally, Wimbush had 589 yards. Leonard before Louisville had 587 yards. Wimbush's completion percentage was 55%. Leonard's is 63%, but again, that 63% clip is very deceiving. He's not that accurate. He's not. 1 passing touchdown for Leonard, 1 passing touchdown for Wimbush, 2 interceptions for Leonard, 4 interceptions for Wimbush. Their numbers, they're almost identical. And Wimbush got benched by Brian Kelly, the coach that left on his own accord. Say that very facetiously. He left, and we got in Marcus Freeman to take us to that next level, to take us to the level that Brian Kelly couldn't get us to, which is winning national championships. Right now, what we're getting is a regressed version of BK 2.0. I talked in a couple podcasts ago about we need to see Marcus Freeman 2.0, because Marcus Freeman 1.0 died, or he got fired, I should say, when we lost to NIU. That guy's over. He lost to NIU. Gone. Now we need Marcus Freeman 2.0. So far, Marcus Freeman 2.0 is not even as good as Brian Kelly 2.0. As if you're an Irish fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let that sink in for a second. Brian Kelly would have beat NIU, but he would have lost to Texas A&M. This is what's so frustrating about Marcus Freeman. He beat Clemson, drubbed him. We beat Texas A&M at Texas A&M. Actually, Marcus Freeman he's won 4 in a row against ranked teams. I don't think Brian Kelly ever had anything like that. I don't think he ever had a stretch like that. But he got to the point where he could beat those NIUs of the world. Maybe he wasn't ugly sometimes, but he could do that. Can we put it together? Marcus Freeman, can you please put it together for the love of all that is good and holy? Interesting things, too. This is another interesting. Before I move on from this Brandon Wimbush, Riley Leonard thing. When Wimbush got benched in 2018, I just gave you the stats that are very similar to Riley Leonard. Wimbush's first 3 games were against a Big Ten team, a MAC team, and an SEC team. Riley Leonard's first 4 games were against an SEC team, 2 MAC teams, and a Big Ten team. Very interesting. I thought that was weird when I saw that. A little bit more about the game. We got outgained 395 yards to 280. Absolutely unacceptable. We won. Yes, of course. I know we won. That's great. Um, we got beat on the line of scrimmage way more than we needed to. I'm so sick and tired of seeing predictable plays, of seeing Notre Dame run predictable offense. I am so sick and tired of it. I mean, the 3rd and 1, there was in the second half. We get the ball back with the possibility of really putting the game away. It's 3rd and 1. It is 3rd and 1, and everyone and their mom knows what Notre Dame is about to do, and especially Louisville and their linebackers. And it's numbers. It's math. 8 guys against 5. 8 against 5 is not going to win, especially when everyone knows where the ball is going. Where's the creativity? Or, guess what else was there? 3 wide receivers had one-on-one coverage. We need to audible out of this. We have to be able to identify this. Pre-snap, either Riley Leonard or Mike Denbrock, call a timeout for crying out loud. Do something to make them pay for their mistakes. That's how you win football games. Not by scratching out wins and barely winning at the end of the game when it didn't need to get to that point. We cannot continue to give the ball back to a team with the opportunity to tie or win the game. We have got to stop doing that. It happened last year against Ohio State. It happened the year before, if you remember the Stanford game. It happened with NIU. It happened again with Louisville, except we pulled it off this time. But we keep giving the team that we're playing an opportunity at the end of the game to either win or tie. Stop. We got to stop. That's got to stop. I'm so sick and tired of that. Okay. I'm going to try and wrap this up. Let me end by continuing to hammer home the standard of excellence. Did anybody watch that Georgia-Bama game? It looked. I didn't. A lot of people went to bed at halftime. I didn't. I did not think that game was over. No way. Too much talent on the field for Georgia. They came back. They were like, oh, hell no. We are going to play this football game. This is not happening this way. This is not going to happen this way. We may lose, but it's not going to be this way. No. Carson Beck, who I am not a huge fan of, dude played a game, at least in the second half. I mean, he turned it on. Bama. Oh my gosh. I mean, look, your Heisman Trophy winner this year, I'm making the prediction. I think I've already done it. Your Heisman Trophy this year is Jalen Milroe, and your national champion is probably Alabama. The rich just keep getting richer. Hey, let's go get a kid who's 17 years old, have him reclassify. He should be a high school senior, popping his zits and going to prom. But let's throw him the ball, and he's just going to score touchdowns all over these Georgia guys. I think he had 177 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, oh my gosh. Who is the talent evaluator at Alabama, not named Nick Saban? Give that guy, give him $100 million and come to Notre Dame, please. Jeez. I mean, you saw two football teams that could throw the ball down the field, that could run the ball, that were very physical, that had linebackers that can run 4.5 40s. If whatever Marcus Freeman wants to do, I'm not some Bama SEC Georgia SEC apologist. I know I talk about them a lot because they're the ones that win. And if we want to start winning, we have to beat them. We got to beat them. So what we're doing right now is unacceptable. That's why I've been a proponent and an advocate of benching Riley Leonard. Hopefully, I gave you something tangible to hold on to with these stats that can push you in that direction as a fan and go, okay, maybe we need to start giving someone else a look. What gets me excited, though, and this is a Notre Dame fan's favorite words, but next year, man, we're going to be great. I truly mean it. If you want, whatever this year is going to be, it's going to be done with Riley Leonard. Okay, whether does he deserve the starting quarterback job or not? Only Marcus Freeman is allowed to make that decision. He's sticking with Riley Leonard. We're going to see how that goes throughout the rest of the season. But next season, I'm already talking about next season because I have to, because I see a lot of positivity. Riley Leonard, shake his hand. Goodbye. Thank you for whatever you're going to do for Notre Dame. Good luck trying to get drafted with having 3 passing touchdowns through 5 football games. Also, Steve Angeli. I want Angeli to play. I think he's a really good quarterback, but he's not our future. I think after the season is over, we shake his hand. You're welcome for the Notre Dame degree. And the game film that you were able to accrue while you were at Notre Dame. And good luck playing at SMU next year or whatever college you decide to transfer to. And I hope you throw 50 touchdown passes. You do whatever you can to retain Kenny Minchey, win Deuce Knight, and you have a quarterback room that looks like this. Junior, top 100 recruit, Kenny Minchey. Sophomore, top 100 recruit, CJ Carr. Freshman, top 100 recruit, Deuce Knight. And just for that nice little cherry on top, what I think should be done, Marcus Freeman, if you're listening this long, for the love of God, please do not get another transfer quarterback. Do not do it. What I'm telling you right now, do that. Kenny Minchey, CJ Carr, Deuce Knight. You need 3 guys who are Notre Dame guys who have developed in the Notre Dame football program. That is what you need. Not a hired gun. It doesn't work. You've already done it. Stop doing it, please. Those 3 guys. And the nice little cherry on top for that extra padding, a guy you don't have to go get, and someone I think more than willing to be a 4th string emergency, the world is ending quarterback. And you've already got him on your roster. Tyler Buckner. Yes. No, I don't want him starting. No, I do not want him in the quarterback competition at all. What I do want him to do, he's familiar with the offense. He's familiar with the plays. He's got a very athletic body, and he can cushion and help teach your younger guys to be the great quarterbacks that I believe that they are. Please, for the love of God, do that. Do that. Don't get a transfer quarterback. Please. You already have great ones on your roster. You don't need that transfer. I'm going to end the show with that because I'm going to continue talking about the standard of excellence. We're going to continue breaking down this entire season as it goes along. And I want to also look to the future because it does give me hope. It does. It really does. If we have that quarterback room, that quarterback room combined with our current and future running back room, we have stud freshman wide receivers that are going to come of age, and our offensive line next year, even with injuries, is going to be big, experienced, and talented. Well, no, big, experienced, and athletic. If you're a football fan, you want your offensive line to be 3 things: big, experienced, and athletic. We're going to have that next year. We're going to have the tools necessary to have a very, very good offense. Can Marcus Freeman put it together? Is he that guy? Is he going to be that guy? Is he going to identify what needs to be done? Is he going to make those hard decisions and do what needs to be done in order to win national championships? We're going to talk about that. We're going to cover it, and we're going to continue pressing the team at DirishFan Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff that YouTube provides. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think, the questions that I asked, the stats. You got any feedback, too, on how I can improve this podcast and the things that I can do better? Let me know, please. I'd love to hear it. This is Danny Roberts signing off. Now I'm done.